Larson up top, all the way up top. Busher.
He's on the outside. He's in position. He's got it.
And here comes Truex. They're going to close right to the 2 leaders. Coming to the line. Crash together.
Oh,
it's
my.
that
Wow.
close. It's Larson.
That was awesome. My timing and scoring shows 0.000. Seriously, 0.0000.
You may unofficially have just seen the closest NASCAR finish ever.
I believe it.
Hey guys, welcome to Stacking Pennies. We're sitting here on Monday afternoon. We still don't know who won the race. Neither is Cliff Daniels or Kyle Larson or Chris Buescher, but they gave the trophy and the money to that 5 car. What an unbelievable finish. A lot of stuff to break down. Kansas delivered once again. Welcome back to Stacking Pennies. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
Stacking them deep, selling them cheap.
It tastes like gasoline, rubber, and victory.
We're just out here stacking pennies.
Hey guys, welcome to Stacking Pennies. Corey LaJoy here, joined by my good buddy Ryan Flores, front tire changer for Ryan Blaney's Ford Mustang. How's it going?
Good, man. How was your day?
It's going good. We're going to get to Daniel Suárez later in the show, but he just left. It was a lot of fun celebrating his U.S. citizenship.
Yeah, it was
cool
good.
to experience that with the Amigo. You were going to race on Saturday at Bowman Gray. Did it get rained out?
Rained out.
Okay.
Yep, do it again next week. Your day seemed interesting to me. It seemed
I
like
hit everything but the Kansas line.
No, but it seemed like I thought you were down and out. You pitted a couple times.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell from pit road, right?
Shall
but
we start from the beginning?
Hell yeah! But what I'll say is you almost salvaged a damn good finish out of it. You were in front of us there late in the race.
Yeah. Then we quartered right front tire, and we had a green flag pit stop. Caution came out with the 8 spinning out.
You were tight.
Well, after you freaking driver side it into the fence, it's gonna knock a little
off.
Yeah, it's gonna knock a little speed out of it. But rewind. Practice qualified on Saturday. It took all the commit that you could possibly want, and then some.
It was fun to watch
ton of
on
grip.
TV.
Track was cool. Cars had a ton of grip, and Chris Bell, who's no stranger to just keep the old skinny stick down. He held it wide open through 3 and 4. Barely cracked it in 1 and 2. Was to be on the pole. Gave up a little bit of speed. In our car, I didn't think we had some blazing speed. We were 23rd in practice. Probably could have used a little more partial throttle in 1 and 2. Could have qualified closer to 20th maybe, but then we just kind of were stuck there. Couldn't quite get any track position. Went forward, back, 23rd, 27th, 8th. That was kind of where we were riding.
Before we tie a bow on qualifying, it was exciting to watch. Because it seemed like if you got, and you had talked about this, but it seemed like if you got, the first couple guys were kind of figuring out where it was. Then you said everybody watched SMT, which I'll get back to in a minute. But it seemed like if you got a bad angle through the rubber getting in the 1, like we saw the 24, get a bad angle and be overcommitted and get the fence. Same thing with the 12.
So he got his rights into the rubber. So every car that goes out, especially when places like Kansas, places like Darlington, Martinsville, Richmond on the list where the car is going to run relatively the same groove. Every car that goes out, those cold tires pick up the rubber from practice. So the track with every car gets a little faster. And the 24, he entered about a foot higher, about a tire width wider than anybody else had been running, and it was enough for him to drive a push into it.
So is that rubber or is that marbles?
It's rubber.
So there's rubber up there already?
Yeah, just laid down from practice because everybody was up there to finish.
So you're just running a little bit down from that?
Yeah. Just where it's gray, because that's the difference of just slipping right front enough because you're committed in the fuel, and you just get tight, and then the wall kind of grabs a quarter and straightens it out, and then you're in the fence. That's what we saw. I think the 12 hit the fence a bit. 24.
It's just a little bit enough to where you totally kill your momentum down the backstretch, and then you see like the ghost cars like whew, gone. 1 and 2 is where you make the speed and qualifying there, it seems like.
It's everywhere. There's 4
really?
corners. Yeah, you got to hit them all.
Yeah, I get it. But it seems like everybody that missed it was in 1 and 2.
Yeah. There's a bump over there. There's a bump right about the 3/8 mark. So you're...
Oh, there's not a bump in all 4 corners?
No, there's not.
Oh, weird.
Just one.
Huh.
Don't be
Hey, you started it.
I'm just telling you where the bump's at.
So then to your point, we talked about SMT.
So qualifying your confidence level is how well you think your car's going to get around the bump. Guys that know that their cars.
So you're focused on the bump.
You're focused on your wheel angle, how much angle your car is. When you hit the bump, you don't want to hit it with too much front turn in it. You don't want to hit it like asking
Where's
too much
that bump at?
About the 3/8 mark.
Of what?
Of turn 1.
Oh, okay. I thought there was for corners.
There is, but there's only one bump.
I'm stuck on that. So then everybody watches SMT, and you said this to me, and it made me think again. My ass has been chapped all week about it. It made me think again about how many tools we all have, because you said the first five cars go, and everybody watches SMT, and they all do it the same way.
Well, the game is how much are you going to lay the throttle down, and you have enough time about 3 cars before you go out. Your crew chief's like, okay, he lifted to 50% throttle. Okay, the next guy, he lifted to 60% throttle. This guy lifted like a U shape or a V shape, and every person that goes is like, okay, if he went this fast, the track's got this much grip in it. And it just keeps dink, 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 to where the guys that are on the back half of Group A, then all of Group B, it's like, okay, well, there's a ton of grip. I can almost hold a wide open 3 and 4 and barely crack it in 1 and 2, and you just go with that intent. And the car's got the grip, and the track's got the grip. So it just makes those back end of qualifying guys that much quicker because they already know what.
SMT necessary? I say this because that's not what my ass is chapped about. I listened to a lot of different podcasts last week that the rear view camera came up and the mirrors. And it came up that was a safety item. And I was like, in what world have we ever gotten to where the rear view mirror is a safety item?
I don't know.
And
I don't like that.
That's where I get frustrated.
Cars, sprint cars.
Well, I get frustrated because the reason when someone doesn't want a tool taken away, they'll just immediately cry safety. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Well, it's not safe. And then it's like, oh, you can't touch that knob. Like, wait a minute. We got spotters up there that are the best in the world at what they do.
Yeah.
You think that mirror when I drive my truck down the road, the backup camera shuts off for safety, just so we are clear about that. So you're not looking at it. So, like, it's so frustrating to me that what I heard last week was that, well, yeah, it's not making for better racing, but I use it as a tool. But I'm not going to say I use it as a tool, so it's for safety. And it's like, man,
okay,
just yank them out.
If that's the angle where NASCAR can't quite get over the hump of not considering a safety item, at least mandate the place that it's mounted in the car, because guys are mounting it right underneath their field of vision.
Kyle Busch, who's probably, he's the most decorated in all 3 series ever done, he said take them all out, leave a left side spot mirror in.
Yeah.
You guys will be fine.
Yeah.
And that's I guess that's my point, is like looking at, and Denny touched on this a couple weeks ago, when you watch SMT, everybody figures out the optimal way to drive the car, right? Like, I am 1,000% on the side of the fence that we need to take a bunch of stuff away because we are all too smart.
Can you put toothpaste back in the bottle, though? How do you do that?
Right, take it out.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. Do we need all the telemetry? Right? Because we're getting closer to F1. And the racing at sometimes, this race was amazing, right? I'm not trying to take away from this race. I'm just going back to the dialogue that it has been. But I'm going back to the dialogue that was from last week. I'm tying a bow on kind of all the aero, so just from what we digested to Monday of last week to Monday of this week, right? It's like, I feel that we make such a big deal about all the stuff that we have, that we need it because it makes calling a race convenient for the team, makes it better for the drivers. But at the end of the day, we're all getting paid to be there. What is going to be the best product for the fans? And I think taking tools away from the drivers and the teams right now now this weekend was a great product, right? But there was a lot of parity at the end of the race, 2 tires, late race caution.
Yep.
It was great. And everybody, I talked to a guy holding high regard last week. He said, well, I'm not about creating chaos to fix the racing, but it's not about what we want. It's about what the fans want, you know? And I think that we can not create chaos, but also limit some of the information that everybody's getting to save us from ourselves.
I'm with you. I could take it or leave it with SMT. It's certainly a tool to try to work on your craft to get better. It's a tool for the team to just nitpick certain driving styles as well. So there's pros and cons to all of it. I think natural rearview mirrors to where you can't mount the camera in your field of vision, where you'd have to like take your eyes from the racetrack up to where a mirror would be a decent, like, I don't know, trade-off, I guess.
Okay, leads me to my next question. Why is aero blocking not as prevalent at Kansas as it was at Dover?
So a lot of different things there. One, be the weather. Weather was perfect. Kansas is a great track, multiple lanes. The hotter it gets, the more advantageous the top gets. So you can just move around and block somebody much easier. But temperature cools off. It was probably 60.
So when it's hot, it becomes a one-lane track around the top, more or less.
Right. And then if the guy's trying to run the bottom, you just slow your corner down and run a lane down, and you just can't go anywhere. But the top lane, from like lane 2 all the way to the fence, was about equal grip. So guys that had good cars, they had options and they can go past. So Kansas has just turned into one of the best intermediates, and I think this car was designed for intermediates like the initial intention was. So we saw all the variables be right. Track had a lot of grip. Temperatures was cool. A lot of guys had options to go all over the place, and it was a hell of a show. So back to our day quickly. Kind of just mired in traffic. 22nd, 25th. Just struggling with a bit of a tight car. Couldn't quite get it all weekend. And then I think restarts have changed a bit since Jimmy won a couple championships a while back.
If there's one guy you don't want to, I know personally you don't want to run over, it's
that fella.
Yeah.
I felt bad. I haven't talked to him yet.
He looked at you.
He wasn't even mad. He was just disappointed.
Did you feel shame in the car while you drove by?
I'm driving by, and I'm like, I saw the car first. I'm like, oh, shit, that looks like it hurt. And then I saw Jimmy standing behind the ambulance, just like giving me like a disappointed dad look, and I'm like, oh no, Jimmy.
I haven't seen a great video of it.
Sorry. So let's bring it here. We're on a restart.
And he got, after you spun him, he clipped you.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw him coming. Like, I'm looking out the left side mirror, like, or left side window, like, no. In the fence we go. But let's back it up. So restart. I chose behind him on the bottom. We didn't get going. And going on the front stretch, and I'm pushing him here. Like, he's in the middle. Nobody's in front of him. So I anticipate him, like, digging, like, driving it down in the corner. I had to watch the camera, my in-car camera, 4 or 5 times to understand why he lifted early, like 3 car lengths earlier than what I anticipated him lifting. I was going to kind of roll to like his right rear quarter is what my plan was. No, we see the in-car camera here in Jimmy.
Yeah, camera.
That was a big lick. Dang.
Yeah, it's much, I would say that the racing in the 3 years that Jimmy hasn't been there is much different, especially the restarts, because all the hay is made on the restarts. And the fact that...
So we saw this is the first time I've seen the 14 in-car camera.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
He's on the bottom. So that's 33's camera. We got a lot of cameras angles going on here on YouTube if you're paying attention. But so I watched mine 4 or 5 different times, and there's about 4 cars up. These guys are racing side by side, and somebody gets pinched in the fence. And there was a puff of smoke, and somebody gets turned to the right. I don't know who that car was. Pause
Was
that.
there a reason he just stopped?
And Jimmy checks up at least 2 car lengths earlier than what I anticipated him, because he sees the smoke. If we're on the highway, I get the ticket because I ran in the back of him. But you're on the restart, and you're trying, like, anytime you crack the throttle or lift and break your momentum, you're in the freaking hornet's nest. So I was trying to like get both of us kind of through like the lap cars that we found ourselves in the middle of at that point in time, and that's just the bang bang, him lifting a little bit earlier than what I expected. Yeah, it's when I am backwards in the fence. I'm like, what was the reason why he freaking lifted so early? But just a little puff of smoke. Hit the fence, knocked the toe out. Luckily, though, my guys freaking worked on it, taped it up, got the car driving pretty good.
Do you see that a lot with guys that kind of don't run the series each week? That, like, I think the 16 car has a rotation of drivers. There's a couple guys, the 33. Like, do you see them do different things on restarts like that will get them run over or put somebody else in a bad spot because they're not used to the flow of how the racing is?
I think it's a big difference between, like, the Corey Himes that are just coming in and slinging it, and Carson does a good job of it, of putting himself in really offensive positions on restarts. Those guys don't care. Those guys are just gassing it up, putting you in bad spots. And it's such a different, like, approach to how aggressive you have to be on restarts and where you have to position your car. You can't have any amount of, like,
etiquette. Like, that's what it seems like. And Jimmy comes from the era of great etiquette, really, right? And probably
a little bit of give and take.
Nobody had better etiquette than he did there for a long time, and the sport has grown out of that rapidly.
Well, the cars have also changed too.
Yeah,
you can't drive onto somebody's left for a quarter and get them loose, and, like, Jimmy's used to just racecraft was what he's the absolute greatest at. And the racecraft with this car now is to get position, put guys in bad aero spots, and then just block because the car behind can't manipulate you from the front. With all that being said, I did feel bad about wrecking him. He did hit a ton. I haven't got a chance to talk to him yet.
I was wondering if Richard Petty for the throwback was doing any parade laps. You can go out there and spin out 7 times in 1 week.
In 1 week?
Yeah, go out there to Darlington under the face laps.
Well, they needed somebody to turn his ass around a couple years ago when he was out there just
making
making laps.
Going. Yeah, the black flag him.
I freaking – it sucked.
Yeah, that sucks.
And it had our car damaged enough to where when we had some track position, we were able to hang on all the way up till 8 to go. I think we were maybe, I don't know, 18th.
You pitted right before the caution, right?
Yep, just to fix it. We just pitted every time we could. And then it worked out to where the caution came right at the edge of the fuel window, and we were in good spot to flip some strategy, maintained. But we had the 77's right front tire came apart. Mine came apart the exact same lap pretty much.
Our right rear came apart the last run. Like, if the 8 car didn't spin out, we would have lost the right rear tire.
So same thing with the 5. The 5 loses the right front tire if that caution doesn't come out.
Really?
It looked like mine, corded up. He was going to have to pit in the next lap or two. So that actually happened at the exact same time. So I'm trying to pit. I'm plowing tight. I think I got a right front tire down. Here we go. Coming to you guys. I think Kyle's running, what, 6th, 7th? Somewhere in there. Right about now, his caution come out, so that made me feel nice.
So you might have said this. What made him spin out?
Loss of traction.
Did he blow a right rear? Or
no, I think he just needed a set of tires.
No, you don't think he spun out on purpose, do you?
No, it worked out for him though. I think he came back to finish. I don't know.
They were leading some laps. They are slowly righting the ship over there for sure.
Oh, you can't count Randall Burnett and
Kyle
Busch.
Yeah,
those guys are dogs.
Yeah, and the pit crews gained a lot of speed, so I'm excited for what the 8 car is going to be able to do here through the summer stretch. A bunch of tough races because they've gotten a lot of bad press this year, and I know they can turn it around.
Yeah. Well, maybe Kevin Harvick's comments about the wheels falling off the 8 car was enough to just turn up the heat on them guys.
Maybe.
Can't hold them guys down for long.
A lot of great.
How easy do they forget that Kyle Busch is top 5 greatest driver to ever drive behind the wheel of a race car?
Yeah.
Like, still?
Well, if people forget quickly, you know that.
Yeah, weekly.
What have you done for me lately?
Yep.
We got a couple other videos keyed up here. The 5 car made a big crossover move on the 1. The 5, he was racing sprint cars all weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is big slide job.
Slide job.
No, it's not. You didn't get him.
No.
Oh, it is a slide job. Full blown slide job.
Yeah,
What is it like when? Because the 1 car was able to cross back down from there, but when the 5 crosses over you like that, does it make dump tight?
Depends how much wheel angle you have in it.
And how much you're depending on the right front at that point.
So the one sees the 5 sliding up, so he's already probably trying to get under the right front slip, just so he can have a little bit more right front turn to get wheel angle out. couple big crossovers from Roswick in the 5. A little bit of right rear quarter panel drag. What's he do here? The 5's probably going to chase him into the corner. The 1's going to take it. Brandon McReynolds on the radio. Take it. Yep. And that's it. That's how you do it. Good racing out of the 1 and the 5 there. I think the 1.
2 dogs. They're all take.
They're all take. No give.
Some people give. Some people take. All I do is take. That's what they do.
Is that the guy? What's up, brother?
Yeah.
What is that?
They
show me these videos.
He's a streamer, man. He's if you get on YouTube and watch a couple of his clips, it's pretty hilarious. But
I've been shown his clips, and I'm like, this guy. I don't know why this guy is so funny.
Listen, Scrooge McDuck. Let's listen to your radio.
So we've had a bunch of radio issues this year. I think we might have found the culprit. So I run Bell helmets, as you can see. I'm wearing a T-shirt today, but I've got a air channel. I don't know what dictates them putting this on there versus just the top. Air channel that comes down and it blows through a little hole in the front, so it's blowing kind of on your face. Just realized that it's blowing right on the mic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So play the tape.
Corey, do me a favor. Cut off your driver fan real quick and talk to me for a second.
Check. Any better?
Way better.
So this helmet has has one of those blowers that goes down to the side, and it must blow like right in the vicinity of that mic.
Yeah, that's for sure what it is. If you have anything important to tell us, please turn it off. I know you need it while you're driving, but it's really hard for me to hear you.
Yeah, copy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Figure it out.
Diagnosis.
One
right
less
there.
thing.
Hey, somehow that's Greg's fault.
Yeah,
all facts is Greg's fault.
It's
but
they can.
You'll just switch it to
a top vent.
I have heard that it's actually better to just have the top vent because then it gives the pressure somewhere to go.
Okay, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Hey, no problem.
Why didn't you tell me that 12 weeks ago?
Because I didn't know what you were running. You didn't ask.
Okay. Which? Yeah, I don't have any current helmets here. But
that.
Yeah. That's the kind of helmet I want to run right there.
The open helmet.
Hell yeah.
So then we.
Oh yeah, that's if you can see
at the top. It's got the two holes. That one that's over there in the corner.
The Chili's, yeah. So
right in the chili.
It's hard to see. You can only see it obviously if you're not listening to us on XM Channel 90 on YouTube. There's a helmet there that's got it down the side and it dumps it kind of right by my left cheek. We got to get rid of that. That's bad.
Because your microphone wraps over from the left side,
yep.
just like it would if you look at somebody with a headset on, and it kind of curls around right into that mic. So yeah, it's a bad deal. That is good diagnosis by you and Sparks.
Yep, getting down to the bottom of it. Do the nitty gritty.
Did you see that? Were you ever 5 wide or 4 wide? I felt
like I was 5 wide at restart.
Yeah, back there in the Hornets nest. But these guys were 5 wide for the lead here. Oh, the 1 kind of used the 20 up.
Well, when you're side by side like that, the inside car gets plowing tight. Because I think when you shut off, so the diffuser takes a lot of the air from the sides as much as it does from the front. When the right side gets choked off on the inside car, you lose all your front turn. So a couple big moments, couple big checks by the 20 and the 1.
Dude, the 17 is like the big mover there.
Dude, for sure.
You got to take the run.
You don't get them very often, so when it's there, you got to take it. I'm driving.
We're watching the 17 fill the hole, and he threaded the needle 4 wide.
He didn't give him a shot.
The 20
to close
was merging down in between him and the 1. He's lucky he had any of that chrome left on the numbers of that thing.
Yeah, blew it right off. That was badass.
That was
also can we just
tea
give
move
Chris
of the
Buescher,
race.
Yeah, the Reese's sweet move of the race.
That was awesome.
That was really cool. Love to see that 17 car run good. Chris Buescher's just a good old boy.
You know, he's never won in a mile and a half, and this was a place where
Ford, he tied,
but Ford has just been struggling all year.
If the damn start finish line wasn't painted crooked, he would have won a race.
Hey, that is a big point of contention. Turns out the start finish line is as you would call it, ceremonial. It's not what they go off of. But I will guarantee you this: if there is something like that,
some obscure
if there's
competitive
some small thing, right? A little hiccup in the wall, car's gonna hit it, right? If the start finish line isn't painted completely straight, it's going to be the closest finish in NASCAR history. It never fails. Like, you cannot have 1 ounce of weakness with a race fan because they're going to find it.
Oh, for sure. Well, people live and die by just the quirks.
Turns out that the laser is what they go off of. You know, I thought after the race, this is going to be another point of contention, but I looked at the pylon. And I was like,
the 17 was
the
up there.
17 was up there, and I've always gone off the pylon because even if it's like wrong, they'll switch it, and they didn't switch it. And I'm like, Larson was doing burnouts, was kind of pumping the crowd up, and his guys had the 17 guys were already celebrating. And then the 5 guys then came out and started celebrating, and I was like, man, the pylon says the 17, and I've always lived and died by what the pylon says, especially after a little bit, but they never swapped it.
No, the 17 stayed at the top all night.
So I was like, man, I am confused. But yeah, I guess that with that close of a finish, you don't even go off of
the transponder.
You go off of the laser, which, you know, NASCAR had all the answers.
Yeah.
And that
they had a freaking laser beam.
Yeah.
It was close. People, what did Larson say about the Kentucky Derby? Something he had some.
I don't know.
Because
he's small enough where he could probably go win that too. He's going to do the double next year, the Kentucky Derby
and
Kansas. Yeah,
he could. That would be unbelievable. I don't know if he can ride. I don't know if he can ride a horse though. He'd figure it out.
I don't know. It can't be any worse than racing the sprint car the night before. I watched that race.
He's used to 900 horsepower. He could probably figure out one.
I watched the high limits race the night before, and it was so rough that they were like bouncing, and I'm like, it'd probably be. He'd probably take a horse right now over that.
Yeah. Kyle Larson, the Kentucky Derby, confirmed right here.
So they come to the line here, which
is the 17 on 2.
I think they're all on 2.
Okay.
I think the first one on 4 was the 19. So he's third.
Man.
So he kind of just shaded.
Get up more.
I think he was going to He was going to do like the aero block, kind of slide himself, but the 5 car got there, committed.
But the track had enough grip. If the track was hot and greasy, the 5 couldn't make that stick. But what an amazing finish!
Yeah, they held
4 cars under a blanket.
Yeah,
Scott Graves pumped up. Unfortunately for him, he's about to get some bad news.
Oh, dude, there's nothing worse. Look at Cliff.
Tell me what happened.
Tell me what happened.
It looks like we won. Did we win?
I think we won. I can't.
I think we did.
Those guys are celebrating.
They just told me.
Who is it?
Is it us? I think it's us.
Guys, report to victory lane. Go accept your trophy.
Go accept our victory.
And then load up. Don't be late for work tomorrow. Yeah, see, it's super confusing when they show this line.
Damn paint.
You know, and yeah, but
that's unbelievable. That looks like a half inch. I don't even know.
I don't know what
you can't even tell. I think they tied. What are the rules? If you can't differentiate who won the race, especially if the start finish line isn't painted straight, who wins the race? They should have a rock paper scissor battle. Best out of 3 on the start finish line.
So I asked Higgy and Jeff before the race. It goes back to laps led. So if it is a dead tie, which it was almost that.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to most laps led throughout the day. So who would have won? Who would have won that? Boucher?
No,
it would have been. Imagine if they led the same amount of laps. Then what do we go to? I mean, I'm sure it's in the rule books.
I think you have a fight to the death.
Rock paper
one
scissors.
One weapon of choice. Whatever's in your pit box. Inch and eighth wrench.
No,
something.
Or you just do like the Cars 3
pit crew on pit crew.
Back to the Coliseum for a one-on-one race on Wednesday.
Or 1 lap backwards, like line them up.
Now we're just getting crazy. now we're just wasting time.
Couple close calls from me. 21 car spun out. I didn't really see this besides how really tight it was out of my left side windows. He was already halfway spinning out.
Oh, was he right next to you?
Yeah.
So did he just get tight under you?
I'm not sure.
Did he hit you?
No.
Okay.
This is right after we crashed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were in and out.
When
of
it
pits.
rains, it pours.
Yeah. This is right after. So we were just we started tail end pretty much every restart after this because my guys were getting my stuff dialed in.
Is there anything you can do? And he spins. Is there anything you can do as a driver when you spin out like that to try to not pop the tires so you can make it back to pit road? Because that's a big that's a big deal. If you can keep the tires on it and not pop them and get back to pit road, you save yourself like 2 or 3 laps.
I wonder if there's like one tire. If it's like one tire that's up, clear.
But like in years past, you just lock it down, wait till
Yeah,
you're done wrecking. But
right.
like it almost seems like you need to keep driving it and keep it rolling so you don't pop a tire.
Well, Joey, right? I think he spun out off turn 4. I don't know what happened there, and was burning it down to try to get traction.
Yeah.
Because that if you have to get towed, it kills your race. You lose 2-3 laps, and that's it.
Yeah.
You
can't
I
get
don't
back.
know. Knock on wood, I haven't got stuck like that. Whenever I start getting out of shape or getting spun out, I just floor it and downshift to try to keep the wheels spinning. And then when you know you're not going to hit the fence, you kind of lock it down, and then it's literally about
If
luck.
they're spinning, they're probably not going to pop. It's when you lock it down
and slide for a long
and
time.
slide for a while. That's where, like, I don't with a place like Kansas, it's got a long runoff, right?
Yeah.
But you don't, right? When you watch from the grandstands, you can kind of see where you're at. When you're spinning, you're kind of locking down, make sure, oh, don't hit anything. I don't know where I'm at, but cool.
Man, what a good race. Anytime Kansas is nice and cool, there's it's going to put on a great race, multiple lanes. Just give me more of it, more ovals.
Want some more of it?
That makes me even think I wouldn't mind seeing the Roval at Charlotte alternate years now. As good as this car races on intermediates, I'd love to see Charlotte twice a year.
Yeah, that's it. So hey, that leads us to our question of the week.
Does it?
Should NASCAR rework the 2025 schedule, if possible, to add more mile-and-a-half races?
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago that it was
More short tracks and hey, let's put 10 road courses on the schedule.
So we fixed that. My question is, I think Kansas, I like Kansas, but I'm still on the side of the fence. It needs one race a year. And go dust off Chicago. Go dust off Kentucky. Right? And I would love to see Kansas become it's a great atmosphere, but it does get like there's not as many people there as there should be. It should be packed like Dover was. And it has the same feel that Dover had, where it's not like completely sold out. And I think going to one race a year will make that an event, and not, it'll make it more of an event, not just a race.
But don't trade me a Kansas 2 for a road course.
No.
Don't trade me a Kansas 2 for another Atlanta or another, I don't know. It's got to be a mile and a half.
Trade me a Kansas for
Kentucky.
Chicago or Kentucky.
Yeah.
Or, we can dust those back off. And I would, or keep Kansas two times a year if we want to. And
I think Kansas is
trade me a road course for Kentucky or Chicago.
Trade me the Roval for the Oval.
Yeah.
Every other year.
I really am. I'm planting my flag there, and I'm dying on that hill of almost every place needs one race a year. Dover last week backed that up for me. So
Daytona,
Talladega, Martinsville, the only 3 tracks that I would go to twice.
And then do some like alternating years.
No.
2 races, 1 race.
No, and I could see Charlotte being, the 600 and then the Roval, but if you wanted to go there twice, that's fine because it's close. Now you're making me soften my stance. I feel soft.
Yeah, you said everyone. Now there's like 4.
No, I have said that on this show from the get-go. Talladega, Daytona twice, maybe Martinsville twice, because it's like our field of dreams.
It's like a pillar
And
of the
then
scale.
that's it. And then everywhere else once.
Darlington.
Once. I loved I like the Southern 500. The one you get one shot at it.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could race Darlington every weekend.
Because it makes Darlington feel, when you go back there and it's not the Southern 500, it doesn't feel as special.
Yeah, the Goodyear
right?
400s doesn't really tickle the fancy quite as much.
No, so like every time I go to Darlington, when I pull into Darlington, I'm like, all right,
big
it's
wood
time.
britches this week.
Yeah.
Because you got to earn it. Here, what else we got? We got Kyle Larson. Wins again. But surprisingly, only the second win in 2024. Did we expect him to win some more? Probably so, but he's been in contention a lot. Second win in 2024, one earlier in the season in Vegas. It's the 9th win.
Ninth win in the next gen era, second to
Willie B.
Just Willie B, his teammate, and his 19th win, which is really impressive, since 2021. So he has been knocking them out.
Well, more than half of that was in one season.
Yes. So yeah,
he's pretty good. He'll probably figure it out.
He's got it figured out. Yeah, he's at the point now where he's counting wins, but he's more focused on how many championships he can get.
How many think he gets?
I don't know. With this format, I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's hard to say. So just got to work out a Phoenix for him. A couple things go different way. Last year he wins that one, right? So
I think hot take. I think Jeff Gordon's got 4.
4.
I think he ties. Jeff Gordon.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he got 5. I wouldn't be surprised if he only had 2 because just the way it works, it's got to work out, right? It's just like the Indy 500. I'd be impressed if he won, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So I would be surprised and impressed if he wins the Kentucky Derby next year, though.
That'd be something.
That'd be great PR.
Let's slap HendrickCars.com on the asses of a thoroughbred and see what he's got.
Yeah.
What
would his horse's name be? Young Money.
It would be Young Money.
Oh man, I love it.
I could just picture him.
We're
in
speaking
that
this
little
into existence.
that leather cap and some goggles.
Yep. We're speaking this into existence with the wreath around his neck.
Somebody Photoshop me that just so I can get a mental picture.
No, just start training. He can do it.
How do you train?
I don't know. Start riding horses. Sure,
let's get him on the show. We'll get him on the show after the Indy 500, his double, the Hendrick 1100 weekend. I'm going to drag him in here into the studio, talk about that, and then we're also going to pitch him on our idea.
Yeah, sounds good.
The Kansas double.
Yep.
What's the Kentucky Derby? Isn't it a mile?
It's the most intense 2 minutes in sports, they say.
Yeah. Okay, that's we're down a rabbit hole.
Let's go talk to the Amigo.
Yeah, he's waiting. Let's just go right to the Amigo. Daniel Suárez.
Join Todd Gordon and myself each week for NASCAR Inside the Race. We'll break down exactly how the race was won.
Plus, we'll dive into the data and go in depth on race strategies, penalties, and rule changes.
Catch NASCAR Inside the Race presented by Consumer Cellular each Tuesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, guys, welcome back. Big guest coming in right here into the Nonsense Garage. We're going to talk about racing a little bit, but it's going to be a celebration of sorts. Daniel Suárez joins us right here in studio, Stacking Pennies. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
I saw the video of you talking about your U.S. citizenship, and I felt a lot of pride in that. You know, I hope you did too. So we got you a couple things first and foremost. First off, hey! Big celebration. And also, like anything else, you need a U.S. citizen starter kit. And we got you something. You ready for it? Yeah, I got you something.
Show me what you got.
The U.S. citizen starter kit.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I open it?
You can put it out there and open it. One at a time.
One at a time?
Uh-huh.
How many boxes are there?
I don't know. Hang on, this is first. So to celebrate you coming in, also I had to get a tattoo.
Look at that.
So I feel like if you're an American, you gotta have a bald eagle tattoo. So I had to get you one of those. Which arm do you want it on? This one right here.
This one is closer.
Yeah, you even got a wet towel.
Yeah.
Guy's ready.
Hold that on there for a couple seconds. Let that marinate.
Marinate.
Okay. Big muscles on this guy. Maybe it'll stick. Okay.
Look at that.
All right. Show the cameras. Show the camera. Show the camera.
Okay. Which camera? I see like 30 of them.
All of them. Okay. There's step number one. Between coming to America. There you go. Number 2.
Oh, let me put
there you go.
marinate.
There you go.
Look at it.
Show the camera.
That could be the new Daniel's Amigo shirt.
Actually, man, I have to come out with something.
Can you put that on?
Don't put the.
It's a nice go-kart shirt, but I mean,
I want to put it on top.
We're gonna give him the proper American initiation here on the show. Yes. Yes.
There you go.
America. Hang on, and then roll the sleeve up so you show the tattoo off too. Okay, there we go. Now we're dialed. Now everything else is kind of fastballs here. This is actually a real football.
I want a real football.
That's a real football.
No soccer.
No, that's an American. So put that over here. That's just I want to tell you what real football is. That's what this is. Pull that guy out. No, pull the little. There you go. Who's that guy? You did your American history
George
test.
Washington.
Do you know who that guy is?
I know this guy. I studied this guy, but if I don't see the name, I don't know.
He looks like just a colonial fella.
Yeah.
Kat, you passed the test. That's yours. And then last but not least, you know, the age-old saying, American is apple pie. So we got you an apple pie, buddy.
There you go.
Look at this. Is
Get a
this
couple
healthy?
forks out of there, Higgy. That's for you.
This is pretty healthy, right?
Yes.
It's apples.
healthy
we'll leave those there.
I feel like this is a full circle moment because I don't know if you remember, but we were there the first night that you came to, that you drove up, because Coleman Presley was your crew chief, and he was living with Logano at the time.
Yeah.
And Logano was driving the 20 car, and he had just won Pocono, so he was having a win party, and we were all over there. And I remember Coleman being like, "Oh, the guy who's driving for me is coming from Mexico. He's literally driving from Mexico right here." And you got there in the middle of that party, and you drove. Did you drive a Volkswagen up?
A Beetle, yeah.
And I remember you
From
pulling in, and you
Mexico.
didn't speak
From
great
Mexico.
English, and we were there.
How long was that drive?
Well, it was like 2 days. But here's the thing: the Beetle. Have you ever driven an old Beetle?
No.
Those things are slow, noisy, uncomfortable. So it was a long drive, brother. A long drive, and it was cold
By
too.
yourself?
With my dad.
Okay.
With my dad, he drove with me, and then he flew back.
Is that 2011?
That was 2011.
Yeah.
In the middle of 2011. So yeah, man, it's crazy that you remember that. I remember with you guys playing ping pong.
Where you run around, and
With
we didn't
socks.
have, yeah, and you didn't have
Spinning.
enough. You didn't have enough ping pong paddles, so you take the pictures off the wall and use them to hit
Yes,
the ball.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah, and I remember, like, we've always pulled for you since then. It's like I've always felt like, I don't know, like close to you because of that, and even through the East stuff with Corey's car, when we'd all race together, you were the X team,
Yeah.
and just through all that and watch your career progress, it's just fitting that you're here the week that you get your American citizenship.
Yes.
That we can
I'm
celebrate.
glad
that with you.
I'm glad we're able to celebrate that. When you were driving up from Mexico 12 years ago, 13 years ago, did you ever envision your NASCAR career to pan out how it is at the moment?
No.
The hope was there, I'm sure.
You know, when I was trying to come to America to race NASCAR, honestly, I didn't have any expectations because I didn't know anyone that has actually made it into the Cup Series. I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
Either from Mexico or from America, I didn't know anyone. So I didn't have expectations. I just knew I wanted to give it a shot. You know, I was very young. I was 19 years old. So I really wanted to give it a shot, but in reality, you know, 90% of the people I was talking to from Mexico, they were telling me, "Daniel, it's gonna be very tough, man. Like, it's
Language barrier,
new
cars,
money, the culture. The culture is something that is very important, you know, because people don't really realize. I mean, we're talking about this off camera. All the guys that you guys race against each other, you know, growing up, all the friends, the connections that you guys built.
Yeah.
Well, all those for me are down in Mexico. So it's almost like when I came here when I was 19 years old, it's almost like you press the reset button and everything starts over, everything. And that's when I met you guys, you know, we raced together, we played the ping pong thing, but it's literally starting over on everything, language, everything. So it's been quite a journey. Not a lot of people actually knows everything that I have had to go through to get to this point, but it's a long journey, and you have to give up a lot of things in the process to be able to try to make it. A
lot of sacrifice, and doesn't seem like there's a plan B for you though, because you are always completely bought in just to make it as far as you have, with the odds stacked against you. Like you can't have there's no parachute.
There is no parachute, man, and I didn't know this at the time, but I know this now. You know, the best businesses, the best athletes, the best people that are successful in the world, they don't have plan B. You know, they put all the energy into plan A. And I remember that for me at the time, you know, I was 19 years old, a young kid from Mexico that, you know, my dad had a restoration shop, you know, working in classic cars. And you guys can know, you know, you don't make a lot of money in that.
Mm-hmm.
My mom didn't work. You know, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, and I saw my family make a lot of sacrifices for me, a lot, way more than what I would say that average family will do for their kids. And And for me, that was the fuel. For me, that was the thing that I say, you know what? This is gonna work, or it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And when I moved to the United States in 2011, man, I had nights crying in the apartment of my friend alone, without speaking the language, without having money to go eat. Calling mom, I'm struggling, and then she was crying on the phone with me. Like, it was a struggle, But those were the nights that really I thought to myself, I'm not gonna make all these sacrifices
for nothing
to stay in the middle of the journey. Like, it's gonna either work or it's gonna work. I don't know how. I don't know if it's even possible, but I'm gonna make this thing work. So yeah, I think without me knowing, I had a mentality of plan A, all in.
You talked about culture. Culture was just the word that I picked up on, because you've been many different spots, right? You've been some good teams, been some tough teams. You've been to the 96, you've been to the Stewart Haas and Gibbs and everywhere in between, but it seems as though Trackhouse has the culture and the belief in you to allow you to achieve your potential. So what do you think just that team in general has done for you in your career?
It's one word: believe. When I made it into a national series, in the Xfinity series, I was super excited to be with Gibbs. An amazing team, one of the best teams back then and today still. And I had a mentality about, hey, you know what? You have to be with the best team to be able to be successful. Well, that's right. But at the same time, it has to be something like a relationship. It has to be a two-way road. And if you don't have a two-way road, at one point it's gonna break. And I didn't really feel support. And I'm not talking about Gibbs. I'm talking about several other teams as well. But I really didn't feel like I had what I really needed. Like, built a team around me. And that was the thing that Justin, since the first day, he told me, hey, we're going to build this around you and be able to make a team successful and build from zero. And that has worked, even though that right now we're struggling quite a bit. I believe that I have the right people to be able to make it through and to fix things. But yeah, man, it's incredible what the right energy and the right belief can do for a race team.
I wanted to circle back a little bit, because it was definitely like we talked about, we always pulled for you, and it was definitely a turning point when you won the Xfinity Championship. Like, Daniel's gonna make it here, right? Because there's always kind of like see how it goes, you get a ride, but then when you win a champion, like, you're a champion, it's like, okay. And then you went cup racing, and you've been a journeyman since then, which we've seen a lot of guys kind of been journeyman. I think of even Joey in that situation didn't work out for him at Gibbs because of the team aspect, and then you look at Martin Truex, where it didn't really work out other places till he got with Cole Pern. But before I even got to that, when I was listening to you earlier, I guess you talked about us being around a lot of guys that we still race with. What was the stepping stones like in Mexico? Because that's something I don't know much about. Like, was it go-karts? And then, like, how did you get from go-karts to NASCAR Mexico? What does that even look like over there?
Yeah, so it's a big step, because in Mexico, we don't have any ovals. Well, right now they are working some.
You got one badass oval.
That's Chihuahua.
Well, yeah, but I meant ovals for kids.
Oh, to learn, okay.
Like, we don't have Millbridge.
Yeah.
We don't have small ovals for go-karts. Actually, the go-karts ovals in Mexico, they don't exist. I never saw one go-kart oval in Mexico until I moved here, actually. So
you should build one down there.
I know, right? I mean, actually, right now it will be a good time, because right now
Amigo
NASCAR,
Speedway.
Amigo Speedway. Right now it will be a good time, because NASCAR Mexico continues to grow, and obviously, a lot of people in Mexico, and really not just Mexico. Sometimes I feel like I narrow myself a lot in the country of Mexico, but in entire Latin America, man. Like, I go to Brazil every year, because Julia is from Brazil. So we go there to spend Christmas. I do a go-kart race there every year. And I'm in Brazil, man, in Sao Paulo, Brazil, doing a go-kart race. And I have fans coming with a staff of myself in Brazil.
That go-kart you race down there's badass too.
Yes.
The body on it.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
But that really amazes me. You know, the sport is way bigger than what we all think. And we don't see that because we're here, right? We're in a turf here in the United States. But whatever country that we go, there is NASCAR fans, man. I was in England, I was in Europe a year and a half ago. Oh man, yeah, we watch NASCAR, oh yeah. Like the sport, I got goosebumps just by talking about it because the sport is way bigger than what we think. That's why I think that the sport has to be international, man, because there is so many fans out there that I don't think we realize until we go there.
Yeah.
And then we're going to really realize, you know, how big it is.
Corey talked about that with this year at the Coliseum.
Dude.
Because, like, he said it was refreshing how excited all the Mexico Series guys were to be at the Coliseum.
I'll tell a story real quick. So we made the show, and it was like, you know, it was a quick turnaround, right?
Yeah.
Between qualifying, okay, you're in, okay, we're going racing. I kind of like hustled back to the pit area, and the closest porta john was in the Mexico Series garage, and everybody, I'm talking everybody, like they're peeking their heads up, Corey, and I'm like, I'm just like, you know, the 20th place guy. You'd have thought Ayrton Senna was walking through the garage. I'm like, holy shit. These people are supposed to be like laughing at you because you that's what the media and the culture makes you feel like you suck, right? If you're not being one of those guys that wins every week. But it was so refreshing to me for an entire series to like see who I was and to be pumped up about it. So is that some extra pressure maybe that you might carry to try to be the face of whether it be Mexico or Latin America, or since you've seen it firsthand?
You know, you can. I think it's everything about perspective. You know, you can see it as a pressure. The way I see it is responsibility. You know, like I felt that there is so many kids in Mexico, so many kids in Latin America that are looking up to myself for maybe not just for who I am today, but for the journey I have had.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's very important to be a good example. You know, a good example because, like I said, when I came here in 2011. I didn't have anyone to look up to. I didn't have anyone that say, hey, you know what? That guy has had a similar journey to myself.
Well, you probably wouldn't be able to understand him anyways because he spoke English.
Exactly. Exactly right. But for example, the closest guy that I had to, I was kind of like, okay, this guy is kind of similar. It was Juan Pablo Montoya. And it was still completely different.
Yeah.
You know, completely different. He came from Formula One. He came from a different country. Like, it was a completely different journey. But there was not one guy that came from Mexico or Brazil or Argentina that was coming, you know, from a different country to NASCAR to make it into NASCAR. So I feel like I was completely blind. And so I didn't have that person that was like, okay, let me go ask for an advice to this guy. But I feel like now I am that guy for many people in Latin America. So I feel very proud of that, and I feel like it's a huge responsibility because, you know, I get, you know, texts and emails fairly often from people from Mexico or from people from different countries about, hey man, can I talk to you about what I'm planning for my son? Hey, can I talk to you about what would you do? Like, would you go to late models or would you go to ARCA? What do you recommend? Like, maybe for us here, it's like common sense, right? Because we live this every single week. But for people in different countries, they don't know everything that we know because we breathe and we eat and we sleep racing every single day here in Charlotte, North Carolina. But over there is a little different. So for me, it's a huge responsibility to be able to help all these people from different places.
All right. Hey, Daniel, I appreciate your time so much. You're always invited back. Doors always open for you, my friend. Good luck to you and the 99 team for the rest of the season. Enjoy the U.S. Citizen Starter Kit. Congratulations again. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Oh, no.
Pick it up. Here we go.
There you go.
Daniel Suárez,
Let's
U.S.
go,
Citizen.
boys.
Established 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Boats and Woes coming up right after this.
I'm Ryan Flores. Join Kim Kuhn and myself each and every week at Around the Track. We'll get you ready for the upcoming race weekends from short tracks to the Cup Series, whether you'll be attending in person or watching from home.
Coming your way each week is the best bets to win some easy money and driver suggestions to help pump up your fantasy lineups. Around the Track also tells you what to watch for in the NASCAR Regional Series and which young phenom drivers to keep your eye on.
Plus, our At Traction segment gives you all of the fan activities, concerts, and tailgating fun at the track. Be sure to check out Around the Track each and every Wednesday on NASCAR's YouTube channel.
All right, another thanks to the amigo Daniel Suarez. That right here, guys, wasn't the entire interview. If you want to hear the entire interview, listen to it on Spare Change on Thursday. We got in some really good stuff. More of what you heard, but just more and more better. So appreciate him stopping in the Nonsense Garage as well. Now it's some time for some pit road boats and woes.
Ooh. Dude,
were there some woes this
such
week?
a competitive pit road. I think there was some woes. I was kind of focused on myself, but it was so competitive.
You said you did your fastest stop ever.
Just on the,
In
on
life.
the front, like I was looking at my breakdown.
Yeah.
So like on the fronts,
Yeah.
not our team stop. Our team stop, we did the fast one we did last week. I had a little bit of a knee issue this week, so I didn't practice much. So got that.
But you're
taped
fresh.
up. Thanks to the fine folks and Pam at Ortho Carolina, got me dialed in for this weekend. But yeah, I see we have some tapes here. First, hey, we'll just start with the dogs of the week. We'll talk about them.
Don't tell me it's the 11
The
again.
9 car.
Okay.
The 9 car. The 11, I don't know what happened here. I did see they were down the sheet in the teens. You know, if you did a 9.5, if that was your average beginning of the season, earlier in the year, you were solidly in the top 10. Now it puts you back. I think we were 9.7. We were in the teens, the deep teens. So it's like every pit stop.
Got to bring it.
Everybody's doing a sub 9.5 now. Even I think there was 10 or 11 8-second stops this weekend, and then I think when we get like the full rundown of like the fastest stops, I think it might have 30, 25 or 30 stop, like the 30 fast stops from the weekend. I think like the slowest one on there was like a 9.3, right? So like everybody's going the same speed. It's just about how long you can string them together without having a bad one. The 9 car averaged a 9.1.
I know we talk about this. You know, it's like 8.4, 8, like. You're putting 18 gallons of gas in and changing 4 tires and jacking a car up that weighs 3,600 pounds and doing it under 10 seconds.
I don't think you're getting 18 in it when you're doing an 8. You gotta,
yeah.
You gotta.
What's that? Like a can and a little bit, probably.
Yeah, I think
2 half cans, probably.
Maybe, I think maybe 15 or 16 might be the max that you get.
Yeah.
If you're really riding it,
yeah.
And you have a perfect exchange. That's what people don't realize is like new levels, new devils. So you get faster, and then
less fuel.
Okay, now the gas man has to get better because he's got to figure out or understand like what we've got to do to get enough fuel in it, but still be fast, and just the situational awareness from everybody. But I'm telling you, man, I talk about it a lot. The 9 car, the continuity Allen's kept through their slump, right when they didn't do so hot last year. He's stayed with all the same guys, and they're all, you know, older, kind of mechanically, they're changers at least. They're kind of mechanically backed guys. They have mechanic backgrounds. They're not.
Who's the fellow we saw at the Mexican restaurant the other day?
Chad Averett, Nick Odell. Chad Averett's a rear changer. Nick Odell, front changer. They've been great a long time. 40-year-olds, man.
Just doing it.
Just doing it. So excited.
How old are you?
Excited for them. 36.
Oh, you got plenty.
I got a lot of runway left if I want to keep doing this.
I mean, you probably have. I mean, what's that? Probably 5 minutes left at pit stop. In terms
yeah, and pit stop. Yeah, I can do 5 more minutes of competitive pit stops.
Yeah,
maybe 7.
Maybe 7 minutes.
If it's bad, it might get to 8 though. You know. So yeah, shout out to those guys for just continuing to be great. The 99 team showed a lot of speed. They were right behind them, and actually third was a 77, so another Hendrick bunch.
They were hauling them in.
They were good. So everybody's really tight, but we did see a little bit of a chink in the armor for our dogs of the year so far. Let's see what happened in the 11. I haven't seen
so
this
the 11
one yet.
gets boxed in by the 33. This is a product of so many cars on the lead lap. The 33 is running 32nd, 33rd probably. He's coming in, you know, 8 seconds, 9 seconds. Well, clearly 8 seconds or 9 seconds after because they stopped them. And Denny's pretty considerate, not wanting to hit the carrier there.
That couldn't have timed out any worse.
No.
And that's a part-time crew on the 33, right? That's a car that doesn't run every week. So I don't know if it was older. I'd have to look at the roster. I don't know if it was older guys or younger guys or a mix. But it was a good job by everybody not getting hit there. We had a situation like this yesterday where we were pretty aggressive at staying on the front side of the pit cycle. And Travis Mack was next to us with the 16 car.
Yep.
And they were like, hey, we're pitting. And they were like right behind us on the track. And the cycle had started when they had already made their mind up to pit, and then we pitted. So it was like, I look over at them, and they're like, we're coming. And I'm like, we're coming too.
Yeah.
On a green flag stop.
We're all behind
So it was, we were in front of them on the track, so they were going to come right around us. So it became a dialogue on the radio. Hey, stop short, slide a sign down. We all talked. Hassler communicated to Brian to stop short. And then you got to control your front tire so it doesn't roll over and hit them. So it was like boom, boom, and we did it all and pitted. And pit stop was a 9-2, and we went on with our day. And it was like, man, that was some
awareness,
some grown man stuff right there. I was excited about that. But that's what happens at Kansas. Kansas is really wide. The pit boxes are really wide, and they're a little bit narrow. So it's easy to get yourself boxed in, just like we saw with the 11 and 33. The 5 car. They're off the suspension. They got their full team back. It said they had a little bit of a rough stop. It said, let's see what happened here. They got off the right side pretty clean. Right side adjustment. Okay, they on this on the right side adjustment here. It's gonna put RJ a little bit behind coming around the car. If we go back to the beginning of that, he's gonna do a right side adjustment. He runs around, so it put them a touch behind the rear. Yeah. So he hung the tire, but it wasn't quite on yet, and the jackman had turned and dropped it. That was just all a product of that right side adjustment, but it was a great job of RJ to get in front of the car. Them guys fix it, and they get back out there. And, you know, that fixing that mistake right there and not cost themselves too much time is what inevitably put them in a position to win the race. Because you're going to have those mistakes. It's not always going to be flawless. You just don't want to take yourself out of the race.
Well, and if you were to have an issue like that, you want it to happen under green because you only lose 2 or 3 spots.
And on the left front where you can see it. Because, like, you can clearly see that there's a problem.
Right.
I know I seen Blaney, like, me, like, check up one time or throughout a career, and he'll kind of see that my body language is wrong and just stop and be like, are we good or not? And then he'll go. So I think, can you notice that too, kind of when there's an issue on the left front? You can't really tell on the left rear.
No. It's hard to see, though, with the 8 posts there. The carriers are usually pretty good about kind of like taking one for the team and jumping on the hood if you need to jump on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 11 is on our highlight reel again here. Let's see what happened.
41 and coming. No, yep.
You see a stalemate a lot on pit road, so the 11 car is leaving his pit stall.
There's really no right of way.
There's no right of way. And if you want to give it, right, it's like always when you want to take it, the other guy takes. When you want to give, the other guy gives. It's I swear we got in a stalemate with Kurt Busch one year at Atlanta where it was like, no, you pit, and we just like sat there under green, like who's gonna go? And then we both go, and then finally we just left.
Once you look over and you really other guys concede, and he looks over and like, oh, you're conceding, and it's like, whoop.
Yeah.
This was a big one. 17 car over the wall too soon.
That's huge. The front, it's on the front changer. It looks like. So when you go back to that, look at the tear off stuck on the car.
Penalty there.
Where did it get stuck?
I don't know. Oh, he was mad.
Well, he knows. He's mad because he knows the ramifications of it. You just cannot drive back to the field.
Can we rewind that one more time? We were having tear off issues all day as well. I don't know what was going on. Oh, see, it ripped. Ours was doing that same thing where it was ripping. I know Money, our tear-off guy, was having a little bit of issue. But if you go back to the start of this video and just pause it, what you're seeing here, you see 2 guys on the ground, right? The carrier has 2 tires. They call him a dual-purpose guy. So he's allowed to start on the ground. And they even give him a step or 2 out. It's not him that we're looking at. It's the front changer, right? If we're looking at him to the right, the front changer's foot cannot be on the ground till his nose is over the plane of that red line. That's the
2 boxes out.
It's the box, but it's the back edge of the box behind you. Now, the jackman, the chain, they can be in the air. Their foot can just not be on the ground. So you especially a place like Kansas where the boxes are wide, you will jump. You will get all you can get, because if not, you can be late out to the right front, and that's just raw time. But you cannot have your foot on the ground. So he's like 3 foot too early here.
Do you time your jump when like he's a full box out with the speed?
Yeah. I jumped late one time this weekend. The last stop was the toughest. The 4 car was right behind us, and they had their pit sign, and they were holding it like right in the view, and I couldn't see the car. So it kind of gets a little tricky, but I don't. That shouldn't have been an issue for them. They had an opening in. I never push it though. I always kind of go on the side of caution. And if I don't have a good view of it, like at a place like Martinsville, I will gauge myself off of Jordan or Jackman. Because I can be the last one there. Because if I get there too soon, I'll be wrestling Trevor, our carrier, for position, and then I can get my leg in his way, and he'll set the tire on my leg. So it's a fine line of give and take and kind of a good choreography. But that's what went on pit road this week. The 17 obviously came back, finished their day strong, put themselves in position to win. It's tough to get beat.
I still can't figure out where the tear off was stuck to.
So when he ripped the tear off, it ripped in half.
Yeah.
And the piece of it went. It looks like it went
static,
up,
clung to the.
It's sticky, so it looks like it's static, clung to the back, and it was just there until they got going green. So we had that happen to us as well. So I don't know. There's a company that comes. I don't know if it's Vamelo or which one it is now that comes and does the tear off, but they every team kind of uses the same guys, and it's an outsourced company. Most of them come and put the tear offs on the windshield. So I did see that happen to us once or twice this weekend. Do your guys have an in-house decal?
I don't know.
Company.
We got decals, but
I don't think they do tear offs.
No.
I think. Yeah.
Track was dirty, sandy this weekend. You needed to tear off every stop, real pitted up, but part of it, man.
That's it.
Going 190 mile an hour.
That's it.
Windshield gets beat up.
Let's move on. Let's move on to our penny for your thoughts section. What do you think?
Let's do it.
First one. Oh, this is pertinent. When is your next modified start?
I don't know. Haven't really looked at it. We got a third kid coming here any week, so with every kid that I have, the extracurricular activities beyond my Cup Series career and podcasting are very minimal. I would love to do it. I like to do like 1 or 2 a year, but haven't really thought too much about it. I'm just trying to prepare for baby number 3.
Spin-off question. Obviously, Martinsville and New Hampshire are the first two. Probably Wilkesboro would be the third.
Yeah.
What if you had to pick like a short track, like a random short track? Where would you go?
With a modified?
Yeah.
I think repave North Wilkesboro would be fun. Martinsville and modified is one of the coolest things you can do. I think any short track.
Like, have you ever been to like a Franklin County or like in a Stafford? Is there somewhere that you would be like, I'd like to race a modified? At like somewhere where they wouldn't think of, obviously those three.
I think IRP.
Oh.
Yeah. Modified IRP.
They went there once back in the day. They had a tough time traveling guys there, but
yeah, that would be a sick track for modifieds.
Yeah. So next one, spin-off advice onto how to get into driving late models or any car or series.
That's a pretty broad question. Really, where do you live? How much money do you have? How old are you? Like, there's so many variables that go into driving anything. You want to start your career getting as much seat time as you can locally, just to understand just vehicle and how they work and dirty air and things like that. So depends on where you live, depends on what's available, and just getting reps as much as you can close to home, and then you start figuring out some connections, and that's usually what progresses your career. Start meeting people, start showing what you're capable of, and then you start traveling a bit more.
The different trajectory now, right? It is, like you said, very much dependent on where you live. I was lucky to grow up near Wall Stadium. You were lucky to grow up down here with a lot of great racetracks. But like when we had Raja on a couple weeks ago, we talked about iRacing, right?
Yep.
I guess the advice on that would be get you an iRacing rig and figure out what you like to race first and get some seat time, and then it has changed the game.
You could even be on iRacing with Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, getting the Coca-Cola Series.
Yeah.
Right? With Caden Honeycutt. We saw him. He ran well this weekend. So there's a lot of options now to where, he gets after it. There's a lot of options now to where you don't just have to grow up in a vicinity of a short track and load your race car up, even though that is the best way to do it. It's my favorite way to do it. You can, I would say, if you're looking to get in the racing and, you want a quick option to do it to see how you like it, I would say iRacing would be the first road to go down.
I agree with that.
Next question. What is What does the workout look like for the pit crew guys during the week? It's different each week. We have a trainer, Nate. He's come over to Penske just recently. Man, he's done a great job of just looking at seeing. He'll watch the pit stop, kind of see what you need. It's a lot of posterior chain stuff. Fronts for show, the backs for go, they say. So a lot of back, posterior chain.
Some deadlifts.
Do some
What do you do for like explosiveness?
Kettlebell swings, landmine rotations, stuff like that, and then we'll always end kind of with a finisher, which is some sort of cardio, get your heart rate up. But this time of year is knowing what your body needs as well, because this is a long 10-week stretch of the summer where
I think this race 12. So
this was race 12, but this is
officially a third of the way through the season.
From Dover to past Sonoma, I don't know what it goes to, but it's a 10-week stretch of like hardcore pit stops.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just got to make sure you know what prepare. I'll say this: I've seen more guys in my pit crew career get hurt in the gym than I have on pit road. I've seen more careers probably end with trying to do too much in the gym or overloading. You don't realize how much of a stress you put on your body doing pit stops, because you think of it as like one thing and then another. So our trainer Nate does a great job of keeping that balance.
Penny stackers of the week. A lot of penny stackers at Kansas this week. I did the NASCAR fan stage outside. That's a heck of a setup there with show cars and a bunch of cool stuff. There was a bunch of 7 merch. There was one fella carrying around a windshield off my car from Miami last year. Literally carried it to the appearance, signed it. He brought it back to his truck.
Did you put a note on there or just sign it?
No, I just signed it.
Nice windshield. Corey LaJoy.
Yeah, cool, man. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield.
That's what you should have put.
I know.
Dang it.
Keep on keeping on, man. I don't know. I've befriended the bartender from 801 Chop House, downtown Kansas, Pablo. I've had him and his wife out to the track a couple times the last couple of years. He listens to the show. He's just a huge NASCAR fan.
Did you go down to 801?
I did.
Nice.
With Sparks and Lambert on Saturday night. So, yeah, maybe Pablo, but there was a lot of penny stackers, and you know who you are. So shout out to all you guys. And thanks for it. It makes us feel good. I'm sure it makes you feel good, too, when people say listen to the show. Who was it this week? It was a NASCAR official. Never met him before. I think he's a new official. Hey, man, I really like the show. So the fact that actually NASCAR insiders and like people who I generally care about what their opinions are, whether it's engine tuners at Hendrick or pit crew guys, when those guys say something to you, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, you know what makes me feel good?
What?
Watching you pass the baton to Levi back here, his first go-kart ride back there at the seat shop where the Field Fair Fairgrounds were.
Yeah, it's Kelly was crying. She was emotional because she's just emotional about everything.
She's
pregnant. 35 weeks pregnant. But little flash back. I was probably 5 or 6 here in this picture of my first time we ripped the old kid cart back in the back of the shop, and it was like this, fast forward 30 years, maybe 25 years. What would that have been? 97 would have been that first kid cart picture. So yeah, it was pretty cool to see him rip it. He drives a bunch of different stuff, mostly battery powered stuff, but this is his first like gas powered stuff.
Did he like it?
Oh, dude, he was.
Did he find the brake pedal good?
Yeah.
Any sketchy situations?
He just all gas, no brake.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting for any second that he just like gasses it up, drives straight into the side of the building. But he did pretty good. I had the throttle stop, screwed down, probably half throttle. So he keeps saying, make it go faster. I said, buddy, let's just get some reps in here.
Yeah.
You're going fast enough here to hurt yourself. Let's keep cranking her up a little at a time. But that was fun. I don't know if I want to be a Millbridge dad yet, though.
I'm not doing it.
That just doesn't really move.
No, the problem is we like that. So we would be too. We'd be like Michael Hicks, where it's like a full time deal.
Yeah.
Like I see Michael Hicks, who is the rear tire changer on the 20. His daughter Giselle races out there at Millbridge, and it is. I mean, he is.
Yeah, you got to work.
He changes tires part time and works on that thing full time. I swear.
it's a balance, right? You see Kevin Harvick he flies Keelan over and lived by himself for 6 months at 11 years old to race against the best of the best in the world at go-karts. There's like that end of the spectrum, who Levi will never get that experience. Sorry to tell you, pal, but that's just not in the cards for you. But there's a balance of like using racing as a tool to foster some resilience and some grit and some work ethic like it did all of us. So I'll support him and see how far he goes. I think he'll stick with his yard cart for like 6-8 months. We'll see. But I will. We'll be paving a go-kart track out behind the shop here in no time. That's where
another one.
That's when the real fun's going to start. That'll be. I'm going to get y'all's opinion too. Whether it's I think it's going to be a polished concrete short track, banked a little bit. What do you think?
We can shape it like Chihuahua.
Yeah. Or Pueblos Pablibles.
Calientes.
Yeah, I don't even remember
I think that's what it was.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Huevos Calientes. I think that's what he called it. So, yeah, that's all I got. Hey, feel gooder. We don't talk about F1 here very often because there's really not much to talk about. Max Verstappen wins every week except for this week in Miami GP. Lando no wins is what they used to call the fella. Now they can't. Lando 1 wins.
Oh, that's good.
Because he's been in F1 now 6 years, but last week he set the record for most podium without a win. And there was some safety car confusion.
They had good strategy, though.
They had a good strategy.
And they earned it. I mean, they had to hold off Max for 30 laps. 30 laps.
Yeah,
it was good. Good for them, and that's awesome. That's good for racing in general.
Yeah. Put a new face on the top step. So congrats to Lando Norris. That was cool to see. A lot of fellas down there in Miami this week.
Yeah.
And that's also what rain delay allowed us to do, is watch the entire F1 race. Normally I don't get to see one, so that was nice.
I was watching it, and then they were like, all right, we got to go to the car.
Got to go.
So, cool.
Anything grind your gears this week?
Nothing. I'm good to go.
I feel like there was something that was grinding my gears, and I forgot to catalog it.
I don't know, man. I was just...
I try not to let my gears be ground too much.
That's good.
Yeah.
I felt for you when you got the disgusted dad look from Jimmy Johnson.
Disappointed.
I was like, man, I know that.
Disappointed dad look.
I know that hurt your heart.
Yeah.
I know Jimmy helped you get in the sport, and I know that he's somebody that is on your Mount Rushmore of NASCAR.
Of just people in general.
Just people. And
damn near killed him.
And that, it's just part of the sport, man. Sometimes you run over the guy that you look up to.
And sometimes that guy runs over you.
Yep. So I
reckon I'll call him today and get my ass chewed.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I watched the tape. Maybe he watched the tape. I wonder if our opinions aligned on that. I hate it worked out the way it did.
Yeah. Stinks
and it sucks. But what doesn't suck is we're going to have spare change. That full Daniel Suárez interview, it will be on, whether you listen to podcasts, won't be on SiriusXM Channel 90. That's why you have to go watch it on YouTube, because we're juicing that thing up. The show looks awesome. If you haven't watched it on YouTube, recommend that. You get the entire thing each and every week. Go check that out, or just like or follow or share or rate or review. 5 stars. We appreciate that. And we appreciate you guys for stacking pennies. That's all I got. Going to Darlington this week.
Oh, dude. Fudge.
Yeah.
You got catfish.
Yes.
We didn't even get the...
Well, we're doing paint scheme ratings on Thursday.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. That thing looks mean. A little bit of rasp.
That gets some good stories behind catfish. Can't wait for that.
Let's do it.
Make sure you guys tune in.
Thursday. Going to Darlington. Spare change. Stacking pennies. Appreciate you guys. Goodbye. God bless.